All right, everyone, our first grammar unit. I know you've been so excited for this, and you're not rolling your eyes at all right now, but it's important to have this grammar, have it laid out for many reasons I'll get into in just a second. But if you're wondering, why does our language suck? Why is grammar so hard? Super brief lesson you can skip if you want it, but it's about 6,000 years old, came from Proto Germanic and Proto Indo European, which involves those. Mostly it changed quite drastically when Normandy invaded England, which was already French speaking, had already taken over other cultures. This created Old English. If you've ever heard of the poem epic Beowulf, that's in Old English. That's our oldest known poem. From there, it's French and Latin and Old Norse. These are also involved with the Romance languages, which is all derived from Latin. So, all of these languages are how English became a thing. That's why it's awful. But why should you care about it? Two most important things: it adds clarity, it makes your word clear. It makes it so that what you are trying to say can come quicker and that it can make more sense to the reader. It also adds credibility and professionalism. If you are writing something in a professional aspect and you have terrible grammar, terrible spelling, terrible everything, then you're going to lose all credibility. Or even in a non professional aspect, I'm just looking for you guys to be better trolls on the internet. And you need good grammar for that. This self paced learning, I want you to keep in mind that you need a growth mindset, okay? That we are doing this to be better learners, to be better in English, and to be better students in general. The reason we're doing it this way as well is so that if you cannot understand something, you can rewatch it, you can find other ways, look through your notes to understand it more, to review it, and if all else fails, you can Google it. First things first, grab notes. I'm serious. This is not typing on your phone time. Grab some actual handwritten notes. Studies show that handwritten notes help you learn this type of education quicker. Second part, if you are also having trouble and I come over and I say, okay, let me see your notes, and you don't have them, guess what I'm going to ask you to do? So grab some notes. You know where the spare paper is if you need it. Otherwise, flip in a notebook. Let's get it started. First thing that we are going to be talking about is independent and dependent clauses. These are the basis of grammar and how sentence structure is built. Try not to get me and Beyonce confused. I know it's hard, but I'm the one at the bottom. She's the one at the top. Clauses. Subject and a verb. Independent clauses as a subject, verb, and a complete thought. It can stand alone. It's an independent woman. It don't need no man. It can stand on its own. It makes sense. I like music. That is an independent clause. That makes sense if I say that to someone. It has the subject and the verb. I like. This is a longer example, but don't let it confuse you. I especially like the fast, loud beats of Tupac in my ears at night, lulling me to sleep. It's a longer, more complicated sentence, but it still has that subject and verb. I like. On the flip side, dependent clauses. Subject and a verb is still involved, but it cannot stand alone as a full thought. If you go to Blockbuster, that doesn't make sense. It's not a complete thought. You're like, what happens if you go to Blockbuster? Going along with dependent clauses are something called subordinate conjunctions. These signal that it's going to be a dependent clause. And you don't have to write all of these down, but just know that these are kind of what triggers that dependent clause most of the time. After I do my English lesson, what? So that's the dependent clause right there. After I finish my English lesson, I'm going to go have a dance party. Okay. Once I'm done with dinner, I will go take a shower. Okay. Any of those. So it kind of is that little trigger there that you know it's going to be a dependent clause. Okay. Pause. I want you to read over these and try to figure out where the independent clauses are. All right. Hopefully you got these right. Miss Mangold is a great, it's supposed to say great, but I think she might secretly be a witch. This has two independent clauses. Miss Mangold is great. That is a sentence that can stand on its own. I think she might secretly be a witch. Also an independent clause. Subject, verb, can stand on its own. When I get done with parkour, that's your dependent clause. Cannot stand alone. So you have to finish it out. I just love the feeling of chugging a pumpkin spice latte and taking a nap. It got cut off by my face, so I had to go back. Okay? So when, that is the subordinate conjunction there. When I get done with parkour. Okay, and then the independent is after that comma. So just quick review. We talked about clauses, has to have a subject and a verb. Independent has that subject verb and can stand alone. Dependent, subject verb, cannot stand alone. So, and it typically has subordinating conjunction. Go ahead, do your no red ink on this. It's labeled grammar number 1. Take your test checkpoint, and let's move on to the next one.